Hi, this is my TBR for June on the Range, which is a Western reading event. I love Westerns, but this was started by Michael K. Vaughn, and I believe I know this is the first year this has been done. Hopefully it'll happen next year too. Because I was raised on Westerns. I just love the things. They're so much fun to read. Unfortunately, they're not popular anymore. They're not as popular as they once were. But I am seeing some like alternative westerns, Western horror, and things like that that are coming back. So maybe that's a sign that westerns are going to get popular again. They're still popular among a certain demographic, but for a lot of younger people and stuff like that, there are probably some that don't even know they exist. And I love a good Western. So I want to show you what I'm going to read for June on the Range. And I'm really excited to do this. This is going to be a lot of fun. I've got, I don't know, 7 or 8 books picked here that I'm going to read from different authors. And they're all pretty popular authors, except for the last couple I'm going to read in June, and I'll explain that. You'll probably be a little surprised at what I've chosen, but people who don't know me that well probably don't even know I like these kind of books. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about them. The first book I want to show you that I'm going to read, I'm not sure where I'm going to put this in, probably week 2, something like that, but I've got, it's not in the best of shape, but it's Riders of the Purple Sage by Zane Grey. This is an old Zane Grey book club edition of Riders of the Purple Sage. And, I think I have read this. I wasn't 100% sure if I had. I think I have. I think I read this a long time ago. My grandpa and I both read it. And we used to sit around and talk about the Westerns that he read. I would go to a used bookstore, which if you watched our interview with J.R. Curtis, which happened on Sunday, you'll know that I was raised in Missouri, southeast Missouri. My grandpa lived in a little town called Sykeston, and I used to go by used bookstores, pick him up Westerns every time we'd visit, take them to him, and he'd sit there and read them all before we left. So it was, and then we'd talk about them and just have a great time. And I would read the Westerns he had finished, and so had a great time with that. But one of those, I believe, was Riders of the Purple Sage. And but I want to revisit it. I don't remember much about it, if anything. Some things will probably trigger memories if I've read it, but I'm pretty sure I have. But I'm going to start maybe with this one, but I think it's probably more like a week 2 read. Then I've got another Zane Grey that I know I haven't read, and it's Robber's Roost, which I love these covers. I found a set of 4 Zane Grey Westerns just like this at Books A Million, and they had them on clearance for $5, and it was a box set of Zane Grey novels. And these, I wish they were a little floppier. These are kind of firm and hard, and hard to open and stuff like that. But I do like the font. I like the print. It is about just under 300 pages, and this shouldn't take me long at all. But I really do like Zane Grey's writing. I know that. So I'm reading 2 Zane Grey novels for. I'm hoping to get to all the books that I've got picked out. I should, but I do have 2 books that I have to read, at least 2 that I have to read for interviews that we're doing this month, and so I'm hoping I can get to all the books that I have chosen. But Robber's Roost looks really cool. It sounds really cool. I'm not going to read the entire synopsis. It's a little long. But then I'll get to my Louis L'Amours that I'm going to be reading. I'll get to at least one of these during the first week. And I've got The Man Called Noon. Really short. All these Louis L'Amours I have picked are really short. This one's probably, this is even under 200 pages. He has quite a few that are just over 200. But this is 184 pages. Fairly small print, but still, that's not going to take very long. But this sounded really good. I read the backs and picked out the ones that I really wanted to read. This is one I've read before. I read this one with my grandpa as well, years and years ago, and this is The Quick and the Dead. My grandpa's favorite author was Louis Lamour, and I would get him other authors, but he would always say that every other author got off the subject. Louis L'Amour stuck with the subject, and that was just something he looked for. I don't know what he meant by that. But yeah, The Quick and the Dead. I think the Sam Elliott movie is based on this, but I don't think the Sam Raimi version of The Quick and the Dead is based on this Louis L'Amour novel. I like both versions of the movie. They're just completely different things. But it's been a long time since I've seen the Sam Elliott movie. But I need to get back to that. I'll do that sometime this June. But yeah, Quick and the Dead. I remember really, really enjoying this one. Here's one I haven't read. It's Kid Rodello. This will be my last Louis L'Amour. Man, look at the painting on the cover. Just so nice. And you know, I find it interesting that all of these cowboys carrying, you know, rifles, Winchester rifles, or you know, Smith and Wesson pistols and things like this, where you know that was pretty common. But and everybody says that it was a repeating rifle that won the West and all of this. When it turns out, when you look at history, it was actually the shotgun that won the West. Much more, you know, inherently accurate, much more brutal. But that is the gun that won the West, not something like that he's carrying. But yeah, I really look forward to these Louis L'Amours that I haven't read. I've read a lot of Louis L'Amour, but there's a lot I still haven't read. I have probably 150 Louis L'Amour books. About 120 of them were given to me, and at one time by one person, and I'll explain that during June as well, how that happened. But I'd like to do reviews of all the books I read, so very cool. The next few, or the next couple, are going to be on my tablet, my device here, and I'm going to read Bounty Guns by Luke Short. I don't have any Luke Short paperbacks anymore. I used to have a lot. But again, really cool looking cover. This actually looks like a picture from a town that my cousin passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. But he was paralyzed and in a wheelchair. But he was a bounty hunter in this little town called Bandera, Texas. And just a really cool little town. It was built just like a Western town. And my cousin, it was interesting, but he was a sort of a gun mechanic for Colt. He was a gunsmith, and he put together Colt guns, and people would bring him guns to repair, but he would only do Colt. And the town looks a lot like this right here. He used to tell us stories about how criminals would come into town and never leave, and nobody would ever miss them. But when it did happen, the police would come looking, and the police would leave without an answer. So interesting stories, kind of disturbing stories from him. But yeah, I like Luke Short, but this is one I haven't read. This is the only Luke Short I have picked out. But if I have extra time, this is going to be the author that I read more of for June on the Range. And if these are backwards, I'm sorry. I don't know if they are or not when the video actually comes out. If it is, let me know. I will change it next time. Bounty Guns. That looks very cool. Now the next book I'm going to read is one of the ones that I think will surprise people that I'm reading. But people who know me really well know that let me find the book, will know that I like these kind of books. But people who are kind of new to the channel, you're just not sure. You know, you would have no way of knowing this. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble getting this cover up. But it is a cowboy romance novel by Dolores Fawson, who is one of the who is one of the romance novelists that I really do enjoy. This one's called Landon, and it is a modern day Western romance. And I have no problem with these things. As a matter of fact, I think they're usually very well written. This is one of the Harlequin intrigue lines, one of the Harlequin intrigue line books, and that the intrigue is my favorite of the Harlequin series. And yeah, I'm going to be reading some of these for Juneau on the Range. I think Steve Donahue said he's reading some cowboy romance novels for Juneau on the Range as well. So very cool. I hope I can get to quite a few of these as well, but this is the only one I've got on my tablet that I'm going to read. And I've got a paperback one here that I'm going to read as well. Let me get it off the bottom of the stack here. It's by Nicole Helm, Wyoming Cowboy Ranger. I don't know if you, let me see. Yeah, you see all of these right here. Those are all Harlequin intrigue and romantic suspense and stuff like that. I've got tons of these, but haven't read this one. Gonna get to it, definitely. These are quick reads. These are usually 1 or 2 sittings. Really simple, but at times fairly intense stories with a lot of suspense. So people crap all over them and say they hate romance and stuff like that. These are people that have never even tried to read it. So don't talk about something if you never read it. Just give it a shot. Then if you don't like it, and don't try one, try a few. And then if you don't like it, then you can talk smack, do whatever you want. But until you do, don't talk about it. There's nothing wrong with a good romance novel, and there are lots of good romance novels. And the last one I'm going to show, this may not be all I read. Like I said, I would like to get some more Westerns in. And I've still got this sticker on here because I haven't gone and gotten lighter fluid to get these stickers off. I have some Goo Gone, but I've had issues with it getting stickers off of covers because it can ruin covers sometimes. But Lonesome Dove, starting on this actually probably tomorrow, a day early, on the 31st. But I've been wanting to read this book for so many years. I'm a huge fan of the miniseries. I think it's 4 or 5 parts, either 8 or 10 hours, something like that. But it is so worth watching. It is amazing. My favorite, one of my top 3 favorite Western films. I love that. I love the original 3:10 to Yuma, which I like the new one as well. But I am a bigger fan of the original. I believe it's Glenn Ford. I have the Criterion Collection Blu-ray of it, and I want to watch that again. I've seen it 3 times. I think I want to watch that again sometime this June. So this is going to be the last one. I'm reading this with Scott Danielson and Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, and I'm finally gonna get it off my list of shame. It is, let's see, 858 pages. So if I read 35 to 40 pages a day, I'll have this done. I'll have this done easily by the end of the month. I don't plan, but I don't plan reading this straight through and then not reading anything else. I'm going to read Lonesome Dove, and at the same time I'll read this during the day. Then I'll grab something like this at night and read these as well. And I would like to do a weekly wrap up of all of my Juneau on the Range reads. So I'll have one of those probably Saturday or Sunday, something like that, and I look forward to it. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people are going to be involved. Some people are reading Westerns for the first time, which I think is just great. I would love to see this, and I think with BookTube we can help that along a little bit, maybe in just a small way. But if we can get stuff like Westerns popular again, then maybe we can get a few more Western writers writing these things. Get them, even if it's just a little creative spark. Let's see what we can do. I mean, we're only a small part, but that doesn't mean that we can't at least help the cause. And and let's get some more people reading Westerns. But yeah, that is going to be my TBR for June on the Range, and this is going to be a fun month. I'm looking as forward to this as I am our own events. I mean, Michael K. Vaughn is a wonderful booktuber. I'll have the list of co-hosts below, and Michael K. Vaughn's channel, who is the host. But yeah, and if anybody wants to read any of these with me, please let me know. I would love to have somebody read some of these Louis Lamour, Zane Grey, Luke Short, anything like that with me. Or if you have something small that you would like to buddy read, let us know or let me know, and I'll be happy to try to get it in with you. That'd be a lot of fun. So hope to talk to you soon, and enjoy June on the Range.